Why do so many marriages that survived 30 or 40 years suddenly feel distant and disconnected after age 65? You're about to discover 7 specific changes that relationship experts say husbands need to make in retirement years. Changes that can transform a struggling marriage into the most fulfilling chapter of your life together. There's one communication mistake that 78% of husbands over 65 make daily without realizing it. And it's the #1 complaint wives bring to marriage counselors, but it takes just 10 minutes a day to fix. Franklin and his wife Diane were married 42 years when he retired at 68. Within 6 months, Diane told their daughter she felt lonelier in the marriage than ever before, despite Franklin being home all day. He was shocked when she finally told him what she actually needed, things he'd been missing for years. Change. 1. Daily. Meaningful conversation beyond logistics. The #1 complaint wives over 65 have about their husbands is that they talk at them about tasks and schedules, but never talk with them about feelings, thoughts, or anything truly meaningful. Husbands discuss paying bills, doctor appointments, what's for dinner and when the lawn needs mowing, but they don't ask their wives how they're really feeling, what's on their mind, or what matters to them emotionally. This creates a relationship where you're managing a household together, but not actually connecting as partners who care about each other's inner lives. Your wife doesn't want another person to coordinate logistics with. She wants someone who sees her as a complete human being with thoughts, feelings, dreams, and concerns that deserve attention and interest. The Gottman Institute, which has studied marriage dynamics for over 40 years through direct observation and research with thousands of couples, found that couples who spend at least 15 minutes daily in meaningful conversation without distractions report 67% higher marital satisfaction and significantly lower divorce rates, even in later life stages. This isn't complicated conversation or therapy-level discussion. It's simply talking about things that matter emotionally rather than just functionally. It's asking questions that show you care about your wife's internal experience, not just her ability to manage the household. It's listening to her answers with genuine interest, instead of waiting for her to finish so you can talk about something else. Meaningful conversation builds emotional intimacy, the foundation of every strong marriage. Sylvia, 69, told her marriage counselor that her husband talks plenty every day about paying bills and doctor appointments, but hasn't asked her how she's actually feeling or what she's thinking about in over 3 years. She said she feels invisible, like her only value is performing tasks and managing responsibilities while her emotional self doesn't exist to him. Tonight, sit down with your wife somewhere comfortable without the television on, put your phone completely away where you can't see it, and ask her 3 simple questions. Ask, how are you really feeling today? And wait for her full answer. Ask, what's been on your mind lately? And listen without interrupting. Ask, is there anything you want to talk about or anything you need from me? And give her space to answer honestly. Then actually listen to what she says without immediately trying to fix problems, give advice, or change the subject to something you want to discuss. Just listen and show that what she thinks and feels matters to you. Emotional disconnection happens gradually, one missed conversation at a time, so reconnect today before the gap becomes too wide to bridge. Change 2. Active participation in household responsibilities. Do you still expect your wife to handle all the cooking, cleaning, laundry, grocery shopping, and household management exactly like she did when you were working full-time 40 years ago? Many husbands retire and spend their days pursuing hobbies, watching television, or relaxing while their wives continue carrying the full burden of running the household despite being the same age and equally deserving of rest and leisure time. This isn't partnership. This is one person enjoying retirement while the other person continues working full-time without pay, appreciation, or relief. Your wife didn't retire from being your mother or your maid because she was never supposed to be those things in the first place. ARP research specifically examining retirement-age marriages shows that unequal distribution of household labor is the second leading cause of serious conflict in couples over 65, with wives reporting significantly higher stress levels, feelings of being taken for granted, and much lower marital satisfaction when husbands don't contribute equally to household tasks. When you sit in your chair while your wife cooks, cleans, does laundry, shops for groceries, and manages the home, you're telling her through your actions that her time and energy are less valuable than yours. You're saying that relaxation and leisure are rights you deserve, but privileges she must earn after serving you. This creates resentment that builds every single day and destroys the respect and affection essential for a healthy marriage. Norman retired at 67 and spent his days watching sports and working in his garage, while his 66-year-old wife continued cooking every meal, doing all the laundry, and managing every aspect of their household. After 2 years of this, she told their pastor she'd developed resentment so deep she was seriously considering leaving after 38 years of marriage. Tomorrow morning, sit down with your wife and ask her to help you make a list of all the daily and weekly household tasks that need doing. Look at that list together and choose at least 3 specific tasks you'll take complete responsibility for from now on. Maybe you'll cook dinner 3 nights a week. Maybe you'll do all the laundry. Maybe you'll handle all the grocery shopping and meal planning. Maybe you'll clean the bathrooms every week. Pick tasks that actually matter and commit to doing them consistently without being reminded, without complaining, and without expecting praise for doing what should have always been your share. Your wife needs a true partner, not another person to take care of, so become that partner starting right now. Change. 3. Expressing appreciation and affection. Daily. When was the last time you told your wife you appreciate something specific she did, gave her a genuine compliment, or showed her physical affection beyond a quick routine kiss goodbye or hello? Many husbands stop expressing appreciation and affection after years of marriage, assuming their wife already knows they love her and appreciate her without needing to be told regularly. But your wife isn't a mind reader, and she doesn't know what you don't express. When appreciation and affection stop, she begins to feel invisible, taken for granted, and questioning whether you even notice her anymore or care about her beyond what she does for you. Research from the University of California, Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center, which studies relationship dynamics and well-being, demonstrates that couples who express specific appreciation and engage in physical affection at least once daily maintain significantly stronger emotional bonds and report still feeling in love even after decades of marriage, while couples who stop these behaviors experience rapid emotional distance and declining relationship satisfaction. Appreciation and affection aren't optional extras in marriage. They're essential nutrients that keep the relationship alive and healthy. Without them, love withers slowly until one day you realize you're living with a stranger you barely connect with anymore. Evelyn, 71, said her husband hasn't complimented her, said thank you for anything she does, or initiated a hug or kiss in over 5 years. She told her sister she feels completely invisible and unwanted in her own marriage. Like she's just a servant he's become so accustomed to, he doesn't even see her as a person anymore. Starting today and every single day forward, tell your wife one specific thing you appreciate about her or something she did that day. Don't just say thanks in passing. Say, I really appreciate how you always remember to call and check on the grandkids, or thank you for making that dinner. It was delicious, and I'm grateful you put in that effort. Give her a genuine hug that lasts at least 10 full seconds, not a quick pat, an actual embrace. Tell her you love her while looking directly at her and meaning it, not while walking away or staring at the television. These small actions take almost no time but communicate enormous value. Your wife needs to feel appreciated and loved every single day, not just on birthdays and anniversaries. So start showing her today. Change. 4. Planning and initiating. Shared activities. Most wives over 65 are completely exhausted from being the only person in the marriage who plans activities, suggests outings, or makes any effort to keep the relationship interesting and connected while their husbands passively go along with plans or find reasons to say no. Your wife is tired of being the only one who cares whether you two ever do anything together beyond sitting in the same house. She's tired of always being the one to suggest date nights, plan trips, find things to do, or create opportunities for connection. She wants to know that you actually want to spend quality time with her, that being with her matters to you enough that you'd put in effort to make it happen. Studies from the Marriage and Family Therapy program at Northwestern University show that couples who regularly engage in novel, shared activities together at least twice monthly maintain significantly higher relationship satisfaction and emotional connection, while couples where only one partner initiates all activities consistently experience declining intimacy and increased conflict over time. When you never plan anything or suggest activities you could do together, your wife interprets this as evidence that you don't really care about spending time with her, that she's not worth the effort, and that you'd be perfectly content never doing anything together as long as your own routines and preferences aren't disrupted. Loretta, 68, stopped planning date nights and trips after her husband passively agreed without enthusiasm or made excuses for 10 straight years. She wanted to see if he'd ever plan anything himself, and after 6 months of him never once suggesting an activity or outing, she realized he simply didn't care enough to try. This week, plan one specific activity you and your wife will do together, and you handle all the arrangements yourself without asking her to do it or help you. Choose a restaurant and make the reservation. Pick a movie and get the tickets. Find a park or scenic area and plan a day trip. Select a museum or local attraction and arrange the visit. Then tell your wife about it with genuine enthusiasm, not like you're doing a chore. Take full responsibility for making it happen. Show her through action that you value spending time with her and that she's worth planning for. Your wife wants to feel like you actually want to be with her, so show her by taking action today instead of waiting for her to plan everything forever. Change 5. Really listening without fixing or dismissing. When your wife talks to you about a problem, concern, or feeling she's experiencing, do you immediately jump to trying to fix it, minimize it by saying it's not a big deal, or change the subject to something you'd rather discuss? Most husbands do this automatically without realizing how damaging it is. Your wife isn't coming to you for solutions most of the time. She's coming to you for connection, understanding, and validation, that her feelings matter and make sense. When you immediately try to fix the problem or dismiss her feelings as overreactions, you're essentially telling her that her emotional experience is wrong, invalid, or not worth your time to understand. The Gottman Institute identifies dismissing or invalidating your partner's feelings as one of the 4 most destructive communication patterns in marriage, patterns they call the 4 horsemen that predict relationship failure with over 90% accuracy. When you consistently dismiss, minimize, or refuse to listen to your wife's feelings, she learns that sharing with you is pointless and painful. She stops trying to connect with you emotionally. She starts sharing her feelings with friends, adult children, or no one at all, instead of her husband. This creates profound emotional distance that kills intimacy and leaves both partners feeling alone, even when living together. Mildred, 73, told her husband she was feeling lonely and disconnected from him, and he immediately responded with, "That's ridiculous. I'm sitting right here," instead of asking her to tell him more about those feelings. She said that response, which is typical of how he reacts whenever she tries to share feelings, is exactly why she feels lonely, because he refuses to actually hear her. The next time your wife shares something she's feeling or concerned about, stop whatever you're doing, turn to face her directly, make eye contact, and simply listen. Say things like, "Tell me more about that," or "That sounds really difficult," or "How does that make you feel?" Let her talk without interrupting, without offering solutions unless she specifically asks for advice, and without dismissing her feelings as irrational or overblown. Just listen and show through your attention and responses that her feelings matter to you and deserve to be heard and understood. Your wife needs you to hear her and validate her, not fix her or dismiss her. So start listening today, like her emotional experience actually matters to you. Change. 6. Making her interests and needs a priority. Too many husbands over 65 structure their entire daily schedule around their own hobbies, interests, television shows, and preferences, while treating their wife's needs and interests as interruptions or unimportant things that can wait indefinitely. You go golfing whenever you want. You watch whatever you want on TV. You spend time on your hobbies without restriction. But when your wife wants to take a trip, visit family, go somewhere she'd enjoy, or ask you to participate in something that matters to her, suddenly there are obstacles, scheduling conflicts, or flat refusals. This double standard communicates that your time and interests are inherently more valuable than hers. Research published in the Journal of Marriage and Family found that perceived selfishness and unwillingness to accommodate a partner's needs is among the top predictors of declining marital quality in older adults, with wives particularly sensitive to feeling like their preferences, needs, and interests always come second to their husbands. When your schedule, hobbies, and preferences consistently take priority, while hers get dismissed, delayed, or treated as negotiable, your wife feels disrespected, unimportant, and like she's living her life around your convenience rather than being an equal partner in a mutual relationship. Wesley, 70, spends every afternoon either at the golf course or in his workshop without fail. But he told his wife they couldn't take the weekend trip she'd been asking about for months because he didn't want to miss his regular Saturday golf game and Sunday workshop time. This week, ask your wife directly what's one thing she'd like to do that you've been putting off, making excuses about, or saying no to. Maybe it's a trip she wants to take. Maybe it's visiting certain family members or friends. Maybe it's going to a type of restaurant or event you typically refuse. Whatever it is, make it happen without complaining, without acting like you're doing her a huge favor, and without making her feel guilty for asking. Participate fully and show genuine interest in what matters to her. Marriage requires both partners' interests and needs to matter equally. Show your wife hers matter as much as yours do, starting right now. Change. 7. Having honest conversations about intimacy and connection. Most couples over 65 have never had an honest, direct conversation about their physical and emotional intimacy needs, expectations, and desires. Instead, both partners make assumptions about what the other wants or doesn't want, leading to frustration, hurt feelings, and disconnection that grows worse over time. Maybe you assume your wife isn't interested in physical intimacy anymore because she doesn't initiate it, while she's actually waiting for you to show interest, because she assumes you're not attracted to her anymore. Maybe you've both stopped being physically affectionate because you're afraid the other person will reject you. These silent assumptions create distance that could be resolved with one honest conversation. According to research from Indiana University's Center for Sexual Health Promotion, which studies intimacy across the lifespan, couples who openly discuss intimacy needs, preferences, and expectations report significantly higher relationship satisfaction at all ages, including among seniors, while those who avoid these conversations experience declining physical and emotional connection that damages overall marital quality and individual well-being. Intimacy, both physical and emotional, doesn't become less important as you age. It often becomes more important as a way to maintain closeness and affection. But it requires communication, understanding, and willingness from both partners. Helen, 67, wanted more physical affection and closeness with her husband, but felt too embarrassed to say anything directly. Her husband assumed she wasn't interested anymore because she never initiated. They spent 5 years both feeling rejected, unwanted and lonely in their marriage, completely unnecessarily, because neither would start the conversation. Tonight or this weekend when you have privacy, initiate a calm, honest conversation with your wife about intimacy and connection. Ask her, how do you feel about our physical closeness and affection, and what would make you feel more connected to me? Share your own feelings honestly without blame or judgment. Talk about what you both need, what you're comfortable with, and how you can meet each other's needs better. This conversation might feel awkward initially, but it's essential. Intimacy doesn't maintain itself through silence and assumptions. Start the honest conversation today. These 7 changes, having meaningful daily conversations, participating equally in household responsibilities, expressing appreciation and affection daily, planning shared activities, truly listening without dismissing, prioritizing her interests and needs, and discussing intimacy honestly, are what relationship experts identify as essential for strong, fulfilling marriages after 65. None of these changes require money, special training, or dramatic personality transformations. They just require genuine effort, consistent attention, and treating your wife like the valued, equal partner she deserves to be. Start implementing even 2 or 3 of these changes this week, and you'll likely see positive responses within days. Marriages that felt distant can become close again when both partners feel valued, heard, and genuinely loved. Husbands, which of these 7 changes will you start making this week? Tell me in the comments, because your commitment might inspire other men to improve their marriages too. Wives, which of these resonates most with what you wish your husband understood? Share your thoughts. Honestly, if you know a couple who could benefit from this guidance, share this video with them, because sometimes relationships just need clear direction on what actually works. Better communication and deeper connection start with one conversation, one change, one day. So let's make today that day.